I've been standing on this bridge for 3 hours now, my knuckles white against the rusted metal railing, watching the water flow beneath me like it has somewhere important to be. The irony isn't lost on me. Here I am, paralyzed by the weight of a decision that could change everything, while below me, millions of gallons of water move with absolute certainty toward their destination. My phone buzzes again. Another text from Sarah. Another missed call from my boss. Another reminder that the world keeps spinning even when I feel like I've ground to a complete halt. The job offer in Seattle sits in my email inbox like a ticking bomb. Accept it, and I leave behind everything I've ever known. Decline it, and I might never get another chance like this again. The river doesn't care about my crisis. It just keeps moving, carrying leaves, debris, and secrets downstream with the same indifferent grace it's maintained for thousands of years. I envy that certainty, that purpose. When did I become someone who stands frozen while life flows past me? A jogger pounds across the bridge, her rhythmic breathing a stark contrast to my shallow, anxious gasps. She doesn't even glance my way, just another obstacle to navigate around. I wonder if she ever stands still long enough to question whether she's running toward something or away from it. Maybe movement itself is the answer, regardless of direction. The morning mist begins to lift, revealing more of the river's surface. I can see fish jumping, creating perfect circles that expand outward before disappearing completely. Even they understand something I don't. That staying in one place too long means missing the current that could carry you to exactly where you need to be. But here's the thing about fear, it disguises itself as wisdom. It whispers that staying put is safer, that the unknown holds only disaster. My fear has a PhD in worst-case scenarios and a master's degree in regret. It's kept me in this same apartment, the same job, the same predictable routine for 8 years now. 8 years of watching opportunities flow past me like debris in the current below. The sun climbs higher, casting my shadow on the wooden planks. Even my shadow seems more decisive than I am right now. It knows exactly where it belongs, shifting and adapting with the light without question. Maybe that's what I need to learn, how to move with the changing conditions instead of fighting them. As I stand here, suspended between my past and my potential future, I realize I've been asking the wrong question. Instead of, what if I make the wrong choice? Maybe I should be asking, what if the right choice is simply choosing to move? The river below seems to nod in agreement, its surface catching the light like scattered diamonds, each one a possibility I'm too afraid to reach for. That's when I hear it. Not with my ears, but with some deeper part of myself that I'd forgotten existed. The river's voice rises from the water like morning mist, ancient and patient and surprisingly gentle. You need calm, it says, and the words ripple through my consciousness like stones dropped into still water. And I need movement. I look around to see if anyone else heard it, but the bridge is empty except for me and the growing warmth of the sun on my back. This should be the moment I question my sanity, but instead, I feel the first real peace I've experienced in months. Sometimes the most profound truths come disguised as impossible conversations. I don't understand, I whisper to the water below, feeling only slightly foolish talking to a river. You're fighting the current of your own life, the river continues, its voice now seeming to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. You stand there analyzing every possible outcome, wearing grooves in your mind like water wears grooves in stone. But analysis without action is just another form of paralysis. The truth of its words hits me like a physical force. I've been so busy trying to predict the future that I've forgotten how to live in the present. Every decision has become a mathematical equation where I'm trying to solve for variables that don't even exist yet. But what if I choose wrong? I ask, my voice barely audible above the water's gentle movement. Wrong and right are human constructs, the river replies, and I swear I can hear laughter in its tone. I don't choose to flow east or west based on what's right or wrong. I flow where the landscape leads me, adapting to every obstacle, finding a way around or through or over whatever blocks my path. Movement itself teaches you what you need to know. I think about Sarah, about how she's been waiting for an answer about whether I'll move with her to Seattle or if we'll try the long-distance thing. I think about my parents, who built their entire lives in this small town and can't understand why anyone would want to leave. I think about the comfort of routine, the safety of the known, the terror of disappointing people I love. But rivers have banks, I argue weakly. You have boundaries. Banks guide me, they don't imprison me, the river responds. And when I need to change course, I do. When spring floods come, I expand beyond my usual boundaries. When drought arrives, I find deeper channels. I adapt because staying exactly the same means death. A duck family paddles by below, the mother leading confidently while her babies follow in a perfect line. They don't seem to question their direction or spend energy worrying about the dangers downstream. They simply move forward together, trusting in something larger than their individual fears. Your calm will come from movement, not from standing still, the river continues. You think stillness equals peace, but you're confusing paralysis with serenity. True calm comes from flowing with purpose, not from avoiding the current altogether. The morning light shifts, and suddenly I can see my reflection in the water, distorted by the movement, constantly changing, never quite the same from one moment to the next. Maybe that's the point. Maybe I've been trying so hard to maintain a fixed version of myself that I've forgotten growth requires change. As I lean further over the railing, watching my fractured reflection dance on the water's surface, the river's wisdom begins to seep into my bones like sunlight after a long winter. Tell me about movement, I say, surprising myself with how natural this conversation has become. Every drop of water in me has a purpose, the river explains, and I can feel the truth of it in the way the current pulls everything forward. Not because someone assigned it a purpose, but because purpose emerges from the act of moving itself. Your job offer, your relationship, your fears, they're all just drops in your current. The meaning comes from how they flow together, not from analyzing each one in isolation. I think about the last 8 years of my life, how I've been treating every decision like it's permanent and irreversible. The apartment I've been temporarily living in, the job I took as a stepping stone, the relationship I've been afraid to fully commit to because what if something better comes along? I've been living my entire life in quotation marks, treating everything as provisional while waiting for some mythical moment of certainty that will never come. I've been waiting for guarantees, I admit to the water below. I've been flowing for millennia without a single guarantee, the river replies. I don't know if there will be rain next month, if my path will be blocked by fallen trees, if humans will pollute me or redirect me or dam me up. But I keep flowing because the alternative, stagnation, is the only true death. A leaf falls from somewhere above, hitting the water with a soft splash. I watch it get caught in the current, spinning and bobbing as it's carried downstream. It doesn't fight the flow or try to swim back to the tree it came from. It simply accepts its new journey, becoming part of something larger than itself. But that leaf doesn't have people depending on it, I protest. It doesn't have to worry about hurting others with its choices. Doesn't it? The river asks, and I can almost hear the smile in its voice. That leaf will decompose and feed fish, which will feed birds, which will fertilize soil, which will grow new trees. Every movement creates ripples that touch lives in ways we can't predict or control. You're not responsible for managing all the consequences of your choices. You're only responsible for making choices that align with your authentic current. The word authentic hangs in the air like morning fog. When was the last time I made a decision based on what felt true to me rather than what felt safe or expected? When did I start believing that my own desires were somehow less valid than everyone else's comfort? Sarah wants me to move to Seattle because she believes in our future together. I say, more to myself than to the river. My parents want me to stay because they're afraid of change. My boss wants me to take the promotion because it makes his life easier. But what do I want? What does your current tell you? The river responds. Not your fear current or your obligation current or your should current. Your true current, the one that's been trying to carry you forward your entire life. I close my eyes and try to feel it, that deep, underlying pull I've been ignoring for years. Underneath all the anxiety and analysis, there's something that's been consistently pointing in one direction. The excitement I felt when I first got the Seattle offer, before fear took over. The way I light up when Sarah talks about the life we could build together. The restlessness that keeps me awake at night, not from worry, but from energy that has nowhere to go. I'm scared I'll lose myself if I leave everything familiar behind, I whisper. You'll lose the version of yourself that no longer serves you, the river corrects gently. But that's not loss, that's evolution. I'm not the same river I was 1,000 years ago, but I'm more myself than ever. The sun reaches its zenith as I stand there, and with it comes a clarity so sudden it feels like waking up from a dream I didn't know I was having. The river continues its patient flow below, but now I understand that it's been teaching me something essential. The difference between being carried by life and actively swimming through it. I've been treating change like the enemy, I realize aloud, and the admission feels like releasing a breath I've been holding for years. Change is the river, comes the reply, the voice now seeming to originate from within my own chest. Resistance to change is what creates suffering. I don't suffer when I encounter rocks in my path. I simply find a way around them or wear them smooth over time. The rock that resists gets broken down eventually. The water that flows continues forever. My phone buzzes again, but this time I don't feel the familiar spike of anxiety. Instead, I pull it out and see Sarah's message, I know you're scared. I'm scared too. But I'd rather be scared with you in Seattle than safe without you here. For the first time in weeks, I really see the words instead of just reading them. She's not asking me to be fearless, she's asking me to be afraid together, to choose love over certainty, movement over stagnation. She's asking me to trust the current that brought us together in the first place. I call my boss in 15 minutes to give him my answer about the promotion. I tell the river, and saying it out loud makes the timeline suddenly real. If I turn it down, there's no going back. If I take it, I stay here for at least 3 more years. Seattle won't wait that long. What would happen if you trusted your current instead of your fear? The river asks, and the question cuts through all my elaborate mental calculations like water through sand. I think about my current, not the artificial streams of obligation and expectation, but the deep underground spring of authentic desire that I've been trying to ignore. It's been consistently pulling me toward growth, toward love, toward the unknown territories where real life happens. Every time I followed it, even in small ways, I've ended up exactly where I needed to be. I'm going to call Sarah first, I decide, and the words feel like stepping off a cliff into open air. I'm going to tell her yes. Yes to Seattle. Yes to the future we've been afraid to plan. Yes to not knowing how it all works out. And your boss? The river prompts gently. I'm going to thank him for the opportunity and tell him I'm choosing a different current. The certainty in my voice surprises me. I'm going to stop pretending that staying safe is the same as being responsible. A group of teenagers runs past, laughing as they head toward the swimming hole downstream. They don't walk, they run, like they can't wait to dive into whatever comes next. When did I forget how to run toward things instead of walking carefully around them? I dial Sarah's number, and she picks up on the first ring like she's been waiting by the phone. I'm in, I say before she can even say hello. Seattle, us, all of it. I'm scared out of my mind, but I'm in. The silence on the other end stretches for what feels like forever, and then I hear her crying. The good kind of crying, the kind that sounds like relief and joy and terror all mixed together. Really? She whispers. Really? I've been standing on this bridge trying to figure out the right choice, but there is no right choice. There's only the choice to keep flowing or the choice to stand still. And standing still is killing me. I love you, she says, and I can hear the smile in her voice even through the tears. I love you too. Scared and all. After we hang up, I immediately call my boss. The conversation is shorter than I expected. He's disappointed but not surprised, and he wishes me well. Sometimes the things we build up to be enormous obstacles turn out to be simple conversations. Standing here now, decision made, I feel something I haven't experienced in months. Genuine excitement about the future. 3 months later, I'm standing on a different bridge. This one spanning the Puget Sound, with Seattle's skyline rising behind me like a promise that finally got kept. The water below is different from my river back home. Saltier, wider, full of possibility and ships heading to places I've never been. But it moves with the same purposeful grace, and when I lean against the railing, I swear I can hear that same voice that changed my life. "How's the movement treating you?" it seems to ask, and I laugh out loud, not caring that other pedestrians might think I'm talking to myself. "It's terrifying and wonderful and exactly what I needed," I answer, and mean every word. The apartment Sarah and I found is small and expensive and perfect. The job I landed pays less than the promotion would have, but it's work that actually matters to me. Environmental consulting, helping companies reduce their impact on waterways. Turns out my conversation with the river wasn't just about my personal life, it was preparation for understanding my professional calling too. My parents visited last week. Mom cried when she saw how happy I looked, and Dad admitted he was proud of me for taking a risk. "Your grandfather would have liked this city," he said, looking out at the water. "He always said still waters run deep, but moving waters run free." Sarah got promoted at her new job yesterday. We celebrated by walking along the waterfront, planning a future that we're finally brave enough to believe in. She wants to get married next spring, not because we need the security of a legal contract, but because we want to celebrate the choice to keep choosing each other every day. "I have something to tell you," I say to the water below, feeling slightly silly but not caring. "I think I understand now what you meant about calm and movement." The sound of the waves against the pier could be laughter, could be agreement, could be just water being water. But I choose to hear it as validation. "I'm not calm because my life is predictable," I continue. "I'm calm because I trust my ability to flow with whatever comes next. The anxiety isn't gone. I still worry about money and career decisions and whether I'm good enough for Sarah. But now the worry moves through me instead of stopping me in place." A seagull lands on the railing next to me, fixes me with one bright eye, then takes off again without ceremony. Even the birds here understand something about purpose and movement that I'm still learning. My phone buzzes, a text from my old boss letting me know they hired someone great for the position I turned down, and thanking me again for being honest about what I needed. Sometimes the ripples of our choices create good things for other people too. But here's the thing I never expected: the river back home was right about everything except one crucial detail. I thought following my current meant leaving my true self behind and becoming someone new. Instead, movement revealed who I'd been all along underneath the fear and hesitation. I'm still the same person who stands on bridges and thinks too much. The difference is that now I cross them. As I turn to head home, and Seattle really is home now, in a way that surprises me every morning when I wake up, I hear the water one last time. "Thank you for listening," it seems to say. "Thank you for remembering how to flow." I walk back toward the city, toward Sarah, toward a life I'm finally brave enough to live fully. Behind me, the water continues its eternal journey, carrying new stories, teaching new lessons to anyone willing to stand still long enough to listen, then move boldly enough to act. The current carries us all, in the end. The only choice we get to make is whether we fight it or learn to swim.